question just to see how delusional you are, or maybe you're not. Are you a man or a woman?
Are you referring to biological sex or gender?
There's only sex.
Well, if you're referring
It's
to
the same
biological
thing.
sex, I have the reproductive organs of a biological male.
So you are a man.
Well, that could mean gender, in which case I would say no.
It's the same thing.
Same thing. Sex and
They're
gender are
not.
the same
So
thing. Gender
there's only
is a
two
construct.
genders. There's only two genders.
Okay.
Male, male and female, man and
Male
woman.
and female are biological sexes.
Yeah. So
So,
man
like,
and woman.
Dogs can be males or females, but they can't be men or women, right?
We're not. Are you an animal?
No, that's why I could.
Yeah,
also
I'm
be
not
a
an
woman.
animal. No, I'm not an animal. We're humans. We're human beings, right?
Yeah.
So we don't call a dog a man or a dog a woman.
That's her point.
We call exactly what I'm saying is that proves my point. If you're a human being, the male and the female is together with man and woman. There's no distinction between the two.
So
There's
it
no
doesn't matter
distinction
then
between
if there's
male
no
and
if there's
female?
no distinction.
There's no
then it does-
I'm talking about there's no distinction between the male, the term of what it means, male and man. There's no distinction between that. Female
That's not true.
and woman. There's no distinction between that.
That's not
no,
true.
you can create a distinction between it.
A boy is a male, but he's not a man. A man is
No
an
one said
adult
boy though. You just
male.
inserted that in there. No one said
a
boy.
boy is a male, but not a man.
No
Yeah.
one said boy.
But there's a reason we
I
wouldn't-
understand you didn't say boy, but
But
you
there's
said
a
male
distinction
and man
between
are
that.
the same word. They're not the same word because boys are males, but not men. You understand the
No,
point? I'm
but
making?
who
boy
you
is
are
not a
bringing
girl.
up? A boy is not a girl.
A boy is a young male. A man is an adult male. That's the
Yeah.
only point I'm
What
making.
I'm
they're
saying
still both
is
male.
they're still both males.
Yes, but you said male and man are the same thing. They're not the same thing. That's the only point I'm making.
No, it is.
No, because boys can be males, but not men.
She's just being pedantic. That's
Yeah,
all.
you're just
Yeah,
being
pretty much, it's
pedantic
just
and you're saying,
pedantic.
well, boys. Who said boys?
Pedantic?
Did I
It's
ever
a
say
basic
boys?
This is logic.
No, did I ever
It's
say
not
boy?
pedantic. I mean,
No,
if
no,
it's
no, let's
pedantic, then
actually-
that's stupid.
Fellas, let her go ahead and say what she wants to say. But did I ever say boys?
No, you didn't. That's
Okay,
my
great. So if
point.
no, that is not a point. What you are then doing is you're inserting the word boys and trying to make a different point than the point I'm making. Do you get it?
No.
So you
You
said, well,
said there's
oh,
no
you didn't include boys, which then boys would be is not a mature adult, so it's not a man. Yeah, there's a distinction between that. I said that proved my point, which you didn't prove wrong, is that male and man, there's no distinction between the two. That has nothing to do with boy.
If you
Get your
say
mind,
there's
get
no
your mind
difference-
straight. Get your mind
if you
straight.
say there's my point is there is a difference between
There's
the word
no,
male.
if you bring in boy
I finish the
and you
point,
say
or
that
are you
there's a
that triggered?
distinction
You
between
seem a
a
little
boy
mad.
and a man, then yes, that's a different
Male?
point than what I
Cooley,
made, Grace.
I
You
may
have
not
low
even be
IQ.
disagreeing with you.
No, Grace, no,
Oh,
stop
okay,
it.
now
You
the
have
low
low
IQ
IQ
thing.
now.
Why don't you call me a
You
monkey
have low
too?
IQ. You have
Okay.
low IQ.
If you say there's no difference between a male and a man, then how can a boy be a male? Because a boy is not a man, but a boy is a male. That's my only point. Male and man
So
are
is
not
there-
exactly
so-
the same.
So if we're speaking about a male and a man, is there any distinction between the two?
Yes. A male
What's the
is
distinction
any
between the two?
age. A male is any age, any species, sex. A man is an adult human male.
That's a distinction between a man and a boy. You are something is
that's
wrong
not
with
true.
you. No, something you literally have low IQ. You're bringing in another word and you're making a distinction
any
for
arguments,
it,
you
but
just
you're
told
not
me low
making a
IQ. Okay,
distinction
buddy.
for what I
Okay.
just said. Because there's no distinction for it, Grace. But anyways,
Okay,
let's go ahead and get to your friend here, and then I'll give the floor to Dane. So once again, you identify as a man. Do I have that correct?
Oh no, my identity, which is psychological, not biological, by the way, has nothing to do with what my genital organs are, and it is with a woman because that is a gender, not a sex.
Got it. So you identify as a woman. So already you're operating in a delusion. That's what I wanted to know. Okay. So,
Well,
all right.
in your
Just,
opinion.
you are, well, that is a delusion. You can never be a woman, but in your mind, you think that you are a woman. right?
I think it's delusional to expect 100% of the population to identify with their genitals, even though identity is something that happens at a different stage in development than the development of our sexual organs.
If I feel like
Okay,
I'm black and I identify as black,
Good question.
That has nothing to do with the development of your brain.
what do you mean? If I've grown up, I have a lot of black friends. I have a lot of friends from the Caribbean. I'm very influenced by black culture. I mean, why can't I identify as black?
Because
You identify
right?
as a man, John. I think that's a little bit delusional.
You just need the attention, so go somewhere else. I'm trying to talk to your friend.
All right, fellas, mission is critical. I was searching my name online and found tons of information that was way too personal. So I thought to myself, who has the ability to leak this type of information? And I found out there's companies called data brokers that profit out of selling your information to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. You already know I've been through many matrix attacks where people create fake pages of mine by using my data. And the same can happen to you. That's why I'm recommending today's sponsor, Aura. I use Aura to automatically remove my information from these sites and keep them off of these sites. They also do other things like bank fraud, identity theft alerts, and also VPN access. I want you to go ahead and utilize my link below in the description box for a 14-day free trial. At least you'll see if you've been compromised or not. Privacy is key nowadays, and you should know if your information is out there. So again, utilize my link in the description box at aura.com/nofugazee and get 2 weeks free. That's more than enough time to see if your personal data has been exposed.
Yeah, so
No comeback. That's what I thought.
identifying
Go cry.
with a particular gender
You're
is
so lovely.
a natural stage of development. Not everyone might identify with their race because that's not a natural component of our brain to have that identity. But 99% of people, well, more than 99, but will identify with their genitals. It's a natural deviation, so key point natural, for not everybody to do that because they happen at different stages of development, and those conditions can change throughout development. Things like testosterone levels in the womb can affect people's identities.
Okay, so question for you. If someone identifies, like if a man, male, because that is saying man and male, if this man identifies anything other than a female, is it then a delusion? Is it then mental illness? Like, say if he identifies as a
Can I be a
cat.
cactus?
Oh, so you mean women? Okay, sorry. Just I am trying to follow, so I was just making sure we're on the same page.
Oh, well, I'll make it very simple. If a human being identifies as anything other than another sex, male or female or man or woman, if they identify as anything else, is that a mental illness?
Not in its own right, but I'll give you this much. They wouldn't be functional in society, right? We don't need to accommodate those people, and they can't really make demands that would be reasonable. I think for me to make demands from a standpoint as a woman, well, we already accommodate women. We already have things in society for women. So I'm just asking to be accommodated as something that already exists.
Well, we have certain accommodations for women because there's a clear biological distinction between men and women. So therefore, you wouldn't get any of the special privileges that a woman or a female would get because you don't have the same biology. Make sense? This is why there's certain privileges for women because they are different than men. They're the weaker vessel. They can bear children. You can't. Does that make sense?
Sorry, it did lag out, but I think I mostly got what you're saying.
What happened? Did I cut out?
It was roboting on my end, so I think it was.
Was it doing it on anyone else's end?
Not mine.
Not on my end.
Yeah, no, I'm over Wi-Fi because I'm at work, unfortunately. Normally, I have a setup at home because I.
Fair enough. Did you hear what I said though? Or should I repeat it?
Just the end part because I heard the beginning. Just like
Okay.
if you had a question.
Yeah, it was a question. So you said that, well, they wouldn't fit in. Like if a human being identified as anything else other than a man or a woman, then they wouldn't fit in society because we haven't created any norms in society for these people to identify as anything else other than man or woman. But for a man to identify as a woman, well, we already have certain privileges and things set up for women. So this man can identify as that and he'll be able to fit in and things would be just fine. My refutation for that is, no, that's not true, because the accommodations that we make for women is based off of their biology. And guess what? You don't share that same biology.
Sure. I would refute that, saying that we can't really police most things based on biology. Sports is an interesting discussion, and we could discuss that all night, to be honest. And I've had that debate before, so I am well versed on it if you ever want to. But let's look at, just for simplicity's sake, bathrooms. We don't really look at people's genitals in the bathrooms. What really matters is if someone would pass, right? So I don't really think I pass as a woman. I'm just going to be honest. But in reality,
I believe that's untrue. I disagree with what you presuppose, and what you are positing as a fact. I disagree with that, because I don't think that real quick, I don't think that we created different bathrooms because women wear dresses and put on makeup and men pee standing up. I don't think that's why we create different bathrooms.
You're not understanding her point. She's saying we don't look at the genitals. Okay, you're a real big guy for saying that. We don't look at their genitals before they enter the bathroom. So, like, for example, if a 15-year-old boy looks like a girl and has long hair, nobody's going to notice if he goes in the girl's bathroom. It's just like nobody's going to notice. Nobody's going to freak out. The point is when it's a guy who looks like a man going into the girl's bathroom. That's what people have an issue with. And she's saying she doesn't really look like a girl, so she doesn't pass.
Got it. So I think I understood her point. His point. Look, you're jacking me up now. See, this is C-chat. This is why confusion happens. It's a he, but this is what happens about confusion when you keep saying the word over and over as if it's true. Then people tend to make mistakes, or they actually just believe that it is true, but it's actually a lie. Like, in order for a lie to become true, you got to repeat it over and over and over. This is why the truth only sets you free. But real quick, what I'm saying is very simple. I'm getting down to the root of why there's different bathrooms for male and female.
Okay.
Right? Well, the reason why, so real quick, my argument is this, and please answer this question, okay? I'm going to just call you he. Please answer this question, he.
I don't care.
Okay? So the bathrooms was created differently for men and women based off of the biological differences of men and women, not based off of women dress this way and men dress this way, not based off appearances. It's based off of the biological differences of men and women. That's why bathrooms was created differently. So you bringing up bathrooms and trying to use this as an example to make your point, it is wrong, because bathrooms was created based off of the biological differences, which still goes to my point is when you say that, well, the only reason that a man can be a woman and fit into society normal rather than a person that identifies as a cat and they won't fit into society normal is because we already created societal norms for men and women. So therefore a man can identify as a woman and fit in. I'm saying that that's untrue, because we created these differences based off of biology, not based off of physical outer appearances.
Sure. So 2 points. First point is, if what you were saying was true, then I wouldn't be able to use a woman's washroom. It wouldn't be possible for me, and vice versa, but it seems like they can. And secondly,
but you're going to, I'm going to why it was created. Not, well, some people may mistake you as a woman. That's something totally different.
Yeah, the reason that we have these separations is ideally for people's safety. And I would argue that as a trans woman, I'm actually less safe in a men's washroom, because there are plenty of men who would either assault me violently or sexually for being there, and I'm safer in a woman's washroom. But the idea of assaulting people in general is actually still very legal, regardless of what your gender is and which bathroom you go into. You going into a woman's bathroom, the women in that bathroom is at a biological disadvantage than you. So therefore, they would be more in danger. Time out, stop it. They, generally speaking, they would be more in danger by you, right?
You're a man. There's also weak men going to the bathroom with strong men. But we're not speaking about that, right? We're just speaking about why men and women's bathrooms was created in the first place. It was created based off of the biological differences of men and women, not based off of the woman wears a dress and the man wears pants.
So if it's based off biological differences, how come I can use a woman's bathroom with my male genitalia? Because it seems like it's compatible with my male sex organs.
Because of indoctrination, the Democrats, the left, the liberals, they let it happen. They made it legal in certain areas.
But then the difference isn't about that biology. Then I can go in there with a different biology and it's compatible.
If you walk into a woman's bathroom and it's in a state where that's illegal, then you would be breaking the law.
But now you're arguing legality, not biology. You said this is about biological differences, in which case I would imagine that women have some fancy toilet that can only connect to their vagina, not to be too explicit, but just to get to the point. And in men's washrooms, there's something that only can be used with a penis. But I don't think that's the case. In fact, I think the toilets that exist there are the same that we have in our houses, which both men and women can use. And I think that the differences between those two types of washrooms, men's and women's washrooms, are for the safety of both individuals. Is that not reasonable?
So then it is a biological reason then?
No,
you're proving
it's
my
for
point.
The safety. It's because we separate men and women to keep women safe.
Okay, so we separate men and women to keep women safe, but why do we have to separate men and women to keep women safe? Is it because that men have a different biology than women, like they're physically stronger?
Because women tend to feel safer around other women than men.
Is it just feelings or is it biology?
Men are dangerous too.
No, is it just feelings or is it biology?
Well, again, I don't think it can be biology because if I go walking, there's not like a genital scanner. There's not like a biology scanner at the front of bathrooms.
No, you're misinterpreting. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying, right? Just said
the laws that you pointed to, if I can finish, do point to a concern for safety.
Okay. But once again,
safety.
The reason why the laws point to safety is because the laws understand that there's a clear biological distinction between men and women when it comes to physical capabilities. Is that not true? Or is it true? Because why else would they make this into law about safety if they think that a woman isn't going to be safe if a man enters the bathroom?
Because women tend to be the victims of sexual assaults and men tend to be the purveyors.
Okay, and how can men be the purveyors of sexual assault if they're not stronger?
On average, they're stronger.
Okay, so then it goes back to what? The B word. Biology.
Wait, a lot of that is mind over matter, and studies have shown that.
No, biology.
When we condition women to feel like you're helpless around men, then they're going to act helpless if a man attacks them. You realize this, right?
Oh no, but
okay,
come on,
so
no,
you're saying that
men are physically generally.
I'm not saying there's zero biology to it, but I'm saying you can't just draw hard lines there. It also is psychology. It's other things. It's society in general. It's social norms that reinforce that we ought to do this.
Okay, so you're saying that it's social norms that say that we ought to do said thing. I get what you're saying, but I think you're still missing what I'm saying. I'm acknowledging
that there is some biology, to be clear, that there is some strength difference between men and women, statistically speaking.
But not just some. I'm speaking about the entire reason. So for every ought, like we ought to do something, we ought to do this. For everything that we do, there's a reason behind the ought. Your reasoning is, well, for social norms for the woman to feel safe. Well, peel the layer back further. Okay, if you peel the layer back further, it goes to biology. So therefore, you're proving my point. You're not refuting my point. You're proving it.
Well, yeah, but that biology is in part psychological, and that psychology is in part social. So again, we can't. All I'm saying is that yes, I agree with you that it is in part biology. The overall security mindset that society has around these washrooms is to protect people from a standpoint that women ought to be segregated from men in situations like that. It's also privacy, right? It's can we be clear? It's also privacy. It's you don't care as much about privacy around other women as you would from a man, because that could be your mate.
Okay, so if you're so concerned with women and them feeling safe, you're a man. And you go into women's bathrooms and you would be making those women feel unsafe.
Gotcha, bitch.
So if you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.